This is a previously recorded episode of the IT and the D Show. This show is broadcasting live from Detroit Sound Studios above Activate Gaming and is part of the Podcast Detroit Network. Visit www.podcastdetroit.com for more information.
Episode 116 of the IT and the D Show is brought to you tonight by TopTal. If you got a software development project, you need some coding done, finding and hiring talented developers is super hard. TopTal makes it easy. They have a huge network of the top 3% of software developers in the world, which means they've already found you the best possible developers to work with. Their team of engineers will meet with you, understand your needs. They'll handpick just a few developers from their network according to what you want. And they are so successful with this, they're offering a no-risk trial period for all engagements. If you are not satisfied, you do not pay. Do us a favor, go to toptal.com/podcast. Start working with top-tier developers. Podcast listeners will receive 1 week of TopTal development credit in addition to a no-risk trial period up to 2 weeks. It's TopTal, TOPTAL.com/podcast. Sign up.
Following program is intended for mature audiences.
This is Max Headroom, and what you're about to witness is one of the most sinister-sounding intros to a trailer to one of the greatest epics ever.
Just where do you guys think you are?
The Library of Congress?
Detroit? Beyond the sun?
Any of those, right?
Take him to Detroit. No! No, not Detroit! No! No, please! Anything but that! No!
I used to hang out at the Magumbo Bar. It was a rough place, the seediest dive on the wharf, populated with every reject and cutthroat from Bombay to Calcutta. It's worse than Detroit.
You will never find the more wretched hive of scum and villainy.
Then don't come! Shut up!
I dig you IT geeks. This is Dre DeMatteo from Sons of Anarchy. You are listening to IT and the D.
So what happens when you tap the angry beaver in the bunghole?
Exactly.
Come on.
Someone cries. What the hell with this? I'm calling a break. We'll come back to the show.
Hi, this is Ralph Macchio, and you're listening to IT in the D Show. Wax on, you know what.
Why would, Buick put their cars next to, the Bentleys? Why? That's not marketing.
The alphabet.
It's brilliant.
What's up, everybody? This is Billy Zapka. Sweep the leg. Listening to IT and the D Show. No mercy.
I may have to wipe the geek off.
Hi, this is Martin Cove, John Kreese from the Karate Kid movie, and you're listening to IT and the D.
Yes, Sensei! Hi, I'm Ernie Hudson, and you're listening to IT and the D. All you nerds out there.
Nerds?
Nerds. Nerds!
What is a nerd?
I'm a nerd, and I'm pretty proud of it.
This is Scott Steiner, Big Papa Pump. The IT and the D Show is your hookup. Holler if you hear me.
You're in your underwear? I'm in my underwear. Hey, let's hang out.
No, I'm sorry, honey. I have a headache.
I definitely want to see Bob in his underwear. That's a fact.
I can't say no, and I don't really want to.
Well, especially with the back doors open.
It's just too big. It's way too big.
We just lost our clean tag on iTunes.
This is Robert Hayes, a tit striker to my mother. When I'm not hanging out at the Magumbo Bar, I'm listening to the IT and the D Show. It's worse than Detroit.
Is there such thing as a meat hangover?
I love my Monday meat stick.
Hey, folks, this is WWE Hall of Famer Hacksaw Jim Duggan, and you're listening to the IT and the D Show. Tough guy. Ho!
So, what would you little maniacs like to do first?
The question isn't what are we going to do. The question is what aren't we going to do.
Ludicrous speed! Sir, had you better buckle up? Buckle this! Ludicrous speed! Go!
It's Monday, November 2nd. Did I just say November?
What?
Welcome. Thank you for listening. This is the IT and the D Show, and we are at episode monumental 116.
Officially. 100 episodes beyond the point where you said we would hate each other, have run out of topics, and have nothing more to talk about.
And, well, only one of those 3 things is true.
I still hate you. We are hanging out in the Detroit Sound Studios in beautiful Ferndale, Michigan. This is Bob the Sales Guy, always here with Dave the Geek, Nuri the FNG. Do us a favor, check us out online, itandthed.com. Tons of great reading material, job boards, calendar. Speaking of calendars, mark yours, November the 19th. We're going to have a social at the Blackfin Royal Oak in the back room. It's our normal meeting place. It's at 5 o'clock until question mark. Tons of great IT people. No cover, no speakers, no that guy.
Anybody selling Amway there?
No fruit basket salesman, no manager 401k guy, no.
But I need help with my 401k, and I'd really love a fruit basket.
Right.
We have a
then go to another freaking event.
No fruit baskets for you. We have a phenomenal lineup. Segment 2, we're going to be joined by the team from Fantasticon, which is a Comic-Con sort of event that we're going to be attending this weekend en masse.
I'm pretty sure we're taking the damn thing over.
I'll do all of the things. I can't wait to be exhausted and drink all the things and hang out with the cool people. But yeah, we got Russ Dodson from episode 1.
We have come full circle now. We had Wolfgang on a couple weeks back.
Right.
The other guest from episode 1, and now we have Russ in.
Russ, Rockstar Recruiter from Bartech. We're going to be talking about the job industry, something we should do more of.
We kind of got away from our roots a little bit.
That's all right. I don't mind. And last but not least, we have Kari Frazier from DetroitisDifferent.com. We did an interview for him. Figure we do a home at home, and he's sitting in the studio. Appreciate you guys hanging out.
It's good to be here.
Yes, so speaking, did I say November?
You did. You know, I used to laugh whenever my grandparents would say to me, "The older you get, the faster time goes." I would laugh. I'm not laughing anymore because I'm like, seriously, holy crap! How the hell is it already November?
So you know what it's time for you to do? Grow a cheesy mustache.
Aren't I already there?
Are you doing? It's cheesy, but you have to get the. No, you got to do it.
Shave and start again.
So I had 8 posts today on social media and 2 emails from my company of people doing it and posting their links. I guess this is something it's a really good cause, and I can totally grow facial hair. So should I be doing?
So speaking of which, I want to give a quick shout out. If you've heard,
should we have Movember Team IT and the D?
Yes, I'm in. Yes.
I don't know that I've ever. Oh, you know what? Actually, I did. I do have a photo of you without a goatee. I was scrolling through some old archives trying to find something else.
Me?
And I found the photos of way back when I was still working at the bad place that wound up getting sued. And we all got a limo and we went to the Emerald Ball, the Emerald Theater.
Yeah.
And we were hanging out. It was like, you and Bo, and you met a whole bunch of me and people from work and yada yada. And yeah, you didn't have a goatee back then.
I have not shaved this thing in probably 15 years.
I was going to say since that night.
So somebody came to my Halloween party on Saturday night, and I did not recognize him without his facial hair because I've always known him.
Was it Scott?
It was Scott.
Yeah, because he'd shave. Yeah, I saw the photos and I'm like, who are you?
I was like, Uncanny Valley, get out of my house.
So speaking of Movember and shaving, you guys heard us talking about Harry's. Harry's is the official partner of the Movember Foundation. They'll be donating some money and raising awareness for men's health. Do us a favor, check out Harry's. If you don't know what we're talking about, it's probably the best shave I've ever had at the best price. My wife's not tired of me going to I said Arbor last week, but it's to CVS, $42 for blades,
or Walgreens, Rite Aid, or now that they're the same company.
Oh my god, it's
whatever.
Insane. But listen, honestly, Harry's kind of shows up like Loot Crate. It's classy as hell. I've been giving them as gifts. They're actually a cool company too. They're started by a couple of guys that kind of wanted to change things up. They actually donate 1% of their sales and give 1% of their time back to the communities they serve and to cool charities. And not only that, they bought the razor company in Germany that's been over there over 100 years. So not only they're eating their own dog food, as they say.
They can do that. They're the factory.
Right, exactly. It's like Spatula City in UHF.
Right.
I like Spatula so much, I bought the company. But they have over 1 million people that switched over to Harry's. They got a cool online presence. It takes like 30 seconds to order. But do us a favor. The starter set includes a razor, 3 blades, and some shave gel. You can get it for $10, $5 off if you use coupon code IT in the D, the number 5. That's lowercase IT in the D, number 5. So do us a favor, go to Harry's HARRYS.com. Enter the code IT in the D.
What happened to IT in the D 1 through 4?
I don't know.
We jumped right to 5.
Preparations A through
G. Yeah. What were the first Heinz 56 tries?
I want to try Heinz 7, but it's IT in the D lowercase number 5, and we appreciate it. $10 free shipping. It's painless.
I give them as gifts. People love them. They're actually it's kind of a cool thing.
And if you're doing Movember, you're gonna have this really bushy stash by the time it rolls around. Do you really want a crappy razor to cut that off with?
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
And there it is. So this has been a.
I'm actually going to try something again. The background music was too loud last time. I'm leaving the thing in my ear so I can hear and just make sure I can still hear myself as I'm talking because I have a little bit of a rant. Comcast,
really?
Comcast. You've had every opportunity to like. I'm the guy that like I always call and I ask when are the new when do I get the new channels? I've already called and I get how do we get this new thing that's out there? So last night, Bob, you know how insane I've been lately. We got a launch coming up. We got all this stuff going on. We got Fantasticon coming on this weekend.
You live for this crap, don't you?
Last night was like the one. Dude, I was home. I was home at like 9 o'clock. I had nothing going on. And I'm like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to turn on The Walking Dead. For the first time in like recorded history, I'm going to watch The Walking Dead live. What do I get? A little stupid message on my screen that says, channel will be available momentarily, error code S0800. I lost my mind. I went from my TiVo to the actual cable box. Same error message. Went to 2 different TVs in the house. Same error message.
Hashtag first world problems. Go on.
But me, it is what it is. And so it just drove me just absolutely nuts. So I call, and here's the worst part. I call. And, the guy's like, why? And I'm like, look, I've already done this. I've already gone through that step. I've already gone through this step. Yes, I've already done that. Yes,
don't you know I'm an IT guy?
Don't you know who I am when I'm calling?
Try turning it off and back on again.
And then, and wait 20 seconds. Wait, no, I meant 30 seconds. Wait, no, I meant a minute and a half. Yeah, whatever.
Back in later.
Right. So, but the moral of the story is, like, I'm going back and forth with this guy for like 20 minutes. And then, I get disconnected. And so I have to get, call back and start all over the whole damn thing again. And the guy that I finally get through to, the level 2 tech, is trying to convince me that there's something wrong with the box.
Oh, you actually got to level 2?
And I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, so there's something wrong with not only that box, but every box in my house, as well as the cable card in my TiVo. But it's only that channel because I go one channel up and there's some stupid Sábado Gigante Internacional soccer match going on. And it's going crazy. Life's good. Cool. I go one channel down and it's like Home Shopping Network. Everything in HD. Life's good. All the crap you would never want to buy in your life right there. So it's that channel. So what happened? They oversaturated on that channel and couldn't keep up with demand. And that's why I couldn't get that channel.
Is that why Glenn died?
That was 2 episodes ago, and we don't know that yet.
Okay, sure.
Okay, if you did have to miss an episode,
that was the episode to miss. Because I did.
Yeah.
So what I did is I after arguing with Comcast for the entire duration, the entire hour and a half of the episode, I went and I set the TiVo to catch the low def. The low def, So like whatever. So it'd at least try to catch
so
that.
You pay for high definition, but you got to watch it in low definition.
Well, but so not. But
wait, low def worked?
No, I did, but I didn't know that at the time. So like and Comcast has they have standard def, they have high def, and they have like super duper mega def
4K.
They have Def Leopard up in like the 1800s. They have most def.
Def Jam.
Thank you. Def Jam. They have the Def Jam, most def. Yeah. And so the goat can. I have all the episodes that if I was going to miss one, I guess that's the one that I was. The backstory on Morgan was nice, but meh.
Man, I felt like it wasted an hour and a half because I was just like you. I have not watched a live episode of Walking Dead, but so many people were like, watch the Glenn episode. So I was like, all right.
They knew.
I'll watch that. So I watched the Glenn episode, and I was like, okay, this is why
this might be good.
Yes.
Yeah.
And once again,
they knew.
Right when I
just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in.
They knew they had America by the hoo-hees.
I blame Family Guy.
By the short hairs.
I blame Family Guy.
Right, and then everyone. And
how do you blame Family Guy?
Yeah,
I need to.
Because when they killed off, because nobody cared about Family Guy, and then they killed off Brian,
and everybody was upset,
and everybody started watching again, and of course 2 episodes later they brought Brian back.
Okay.
So yeah, it's all Family Guy's fault.
Glenn's
I
coming
don't
back.
think Glenn's coming back.
Glenn's coming back.
Yeah,
So there are
See how he fell off the dumpster?
With the guy on top
with
of
the
him.
guy on top of him, and so
guy
it-
shot
it-
himself.
What about the blood?
But
That's
so
the guy on top of him. They're pulling his guts out.
and because your guts aren't up in your neck, and that's where they were coming out of. And there's a whole bunch because it's the internet, and so like every crazy conspiracy theory is out there, and like all the little people that sit outside sets with their 9,000 millimeter photographic lenses trying to get snaps, like they've seen Glenn on set, and they've seen him like in different. So, but here's like, did you watch The Talking Dead by any chance?
No, I did not.
So what's weird because they had Morgan, the actor that plays Morgan on Talking Dead, and he said like they even screwed with the actors with that. Like they filmed episodes 1, 2, and 3, then filmed the one that aired last night, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then went back and then filmed 4. But they didn't. So they didn't know. Even the actors didn't know what was airing last week.
Well, just so you know, as a non-cable user, I watch it on iTunes. Haven't watched last night's episode yet. Just going to put that out there.
You're not
thanks
missing
for
much.
spoiler Well, no alert. Spoiling.
Right. Yeah, no, you really don't. I mean, it's the Morgan backstory.
Okay.
It's the delta from Morgan when he was the crazy guy that they ran into back in town after his wife and kid got killed,
Right.
to the Morgan who is now all life is sacred.
It went all the way back to when he was.
Kane,
It went all the way back to when he was a pimp on Hung. I can't get it.
I missed that show.
It was a
I
great
really
show.
do.
Speaking of screw Comcast, you know who else can get the stink finger? Sprint.
You got sprunted?
That's a past tense of sprint. Sprunt. Those clowns got. They announced unlimited for $20, right?
That sounds like an amazing deal. Where can I sign up?
Right. Oh, asterisk, subtitles, subtext. Oh, by the way, once you hit your data cap, you're getting 2G speeds on your phone.
And what's the cap?
What's the cap, Dave? Is it 2 gig or 4 gig?
But how do you have a cap if it's unlimited? Isn't
right.
that the
it is
unlimited
unlimited.
data?
I do not think that word.
Do you
means
not
what think it means.
understand the magic of the asterisk?
You only get it. You get it in trickle.
This guy needs to be my attorney.
That's the magic of the asterisk.
But anyone that fell for that, they're going to go on the YouTubes or they're going to watch it on their iTunes, and they're not going to.
They're going to get their 1 gig cap, and they're not going to be able to use YouTube. They're not going to use iTunes.
No, so you're getting 2G speeds. You ever go on go to Canada and get stuck on 3G? It's like being in your own personal hell. It's the word hashtag first world problems.
I just looked it up. So starter unlimited data is $20 a month. 1 gig of 4G
Oh my
data,
God.
which I burned through in like
3
an afternoon
days,
of heavy
yeah.
porn browsing. I mean, seriously.
Those long trips to Manila aren't going to occupy themselves.
Speaking of porn browsing, you know who's happy this week? RedTube.com. They want to, because the whole YouTube Red thing.
Oh yeah, their traffic's going through the roof.
They sent out a press release going, "We'd like to we thank you for associating us with YouTube. This is our greatest month to date, and keep coming. We appreciate it, no pun intended. We appreciate the traffic."
And Google declined to comment.
Yeah, but who's the clown? I still want to know. I want to sit in that boardroom, Dave. You know how I'm fascinated with not necessarily the product, but the process. I want to sit.
There's
in
a big
meeting.
whiteboard somewhere. There's
Yeah,
like 20 overpaid Google people full of Google lunch. Just
naming conference on what they're going to announce the new paid
YouTube
service.
Extreme. No, that's not good enough. YouTube Plus. No, that doesn't quite have enough behind it. How about YouTube Red?
And not one said, "Wait, sir, boss."
They're afraid to admit that they're watching porn in a boardroom. That's what's going on.
I've heard some people at the bar were talking about it. I don't know, but the fact that now is like, is it soured? Do they have to rebrand, or is it just like business as usual?
I think the people who are going to pay for YouTube subscriptions probably aren't the ones watching.
Who's paying for it anyway? For crying, they're 15-second ads. It doesn't bother me.
It includes the Google Plus or Play Music, which actually
who
may
cares?
be worse.
Which is a free app on my phone anyway.
I didn't think this through. Okay, screw you. Also, I don't subscribe.
Do you have a sad trombone anywhere?
I have a what?
Sad trombone.
The little wah-wah somewhere. I'm sure I do.
So speaking of porn, did you guys see that article about Pornhub releasing their statistics about Halloween?
Weird. People are weird.
So apparently on Halloween, there's a 2,200% increase in people looking for porn, including Halloween costumes, trick-or-treating, Halloween parties, Halloween orgies, so on and so forth.
who's a part of the marketing department that does the marketing research at Pornhub? I guess that's
an amazing
Some
data
really, really A, freaky and B, nerdy people. Because, I mean, like, it takes a certain kind of person to be a metrics nerd, and then to sit there and saturate yourself with the metrics data from a porn site.
That's what I'm saying.
Has just got to be overwhelming.
That's what I'm saying. This is the world of data mining right now. You could probably be working at Google. You could probably be working at, I don't know, Priceline, but you're like...
I'd rather work at Pornhub, actually, just saying. I'm going to throw that out there. I'd rather work at Pornhub.
You'd rather be at Pornhub?
I'd rather be at Pornhub, yeah. I'm sure they have good free lunch,
how do you put that
too.
on the resume?
They have hot lunch they serve, I'm sure.
How do you put that on your resume?
I had a friend that's in the business, and early on that was his business, and he wanted to go legit. And I said, you either got to pick a horse. You can't do, you're either that way or that way. You can't do both. And he had so many cousins. He's like, well, that's it, screw it. And he just dove in that way. And he's one of the top 3 companies, if not the top 1 in the world for hosting adult. And good for him.
Well, thank that man for the work that he does.
He's exactly doing God's work. Totally.
Exactly. So
here's to you, Mr. Porn Metrics Data Man.
Right, exactly. Mr. Porn Metrics. So Dave's been a wreck this week with the announcements of all of the reboots coming out in Hollywood.
Dude, I'm like one more away from going on a tri-state killing spree. Like this is why like it's times like this where it's hard to argue. The terrorists might be right. we might not be. Maybe we shouldn't exist because like, dude, seriously, now like all the other nonsense that they've done now, dude. Okay, greatest American hero, not the greatest source material to be starting with. Anyway, it was a great show in the 80s. Cute, cheesy. It is what it is.
The greatest. No, it's the greatest American. Oh, it is. But if it's not the greatest American gyro and they're doing it at a Greek diner, I'm not watching it. That's all I'm saying.
But the one that cuts deep, dude. They're going to remake Big Trouble in Little China.
Shut up.
With Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. And the only redeeming part of this entire story is that they reached Kurt Russell. And told him this, and he was like, so what do you think? He was like, yeah, good luck with that.
They said they want to
reach out to Kim Cattrall?
No, she wasn't in that.
Kim Cattrall wasn't it Big Trouble in Little China?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm thinking of something.
Gracie Law.
Yeah. But they said
Aren't you going to kiss her goodbye?
They said they're going to make a series about it, though, and they actually said they're going to do it legit. So if they bring it legit and they do it right and they bring a series, you tell me you're not going to be the first one in line to go see that thing.
No.
Lies. All lies. Believe it when I see it.
Hey, I held off on Battlestar Galactica till it was in repeat upon a repeat on BBC.
The Edward James Olmos one?
Yeah.
Think about the kids.
Yeah. No, he never said that once.
No,
he never. Not once in the thing.
Like, so say we all.
That was Stand By Me.
That wasn't Stand By Me. That was Stand and Deliver.
Stand and Deliver. Whatever.
His body's decomposing in my locker. Sorry. Chemo. Sorry. But they're not going to end with the spin-offs. They're inevitable. You might as well just watch the stupid movies and be happy.
Well, I can't remember if we talked about this or not, but Kristen Wiig a couple weeks ago was apparently upset, or she said she wasn't upset. She was confused that people were mad about the all-female Ghostbusters remake. Like, and I'm like, how was like the reporter's next sentence? Have you met the internet? Like, have you never met like film nerds, movie geeks? Like, did you expected this to just like it was just going to go and nobody was going to say, okay, sure.
See, this trend is troubling to me. I mean, what's the average years between remakes going to be in 10 years?
Well,
every 3 years we're going to remake
Spider-Man.
something?
Spider-Man, they've remade what 3 times in the past 8 years. They've rebooted. Superman. This is the 3rd Superman reboot,
3rd or 4th
in recent history.
No, Returns. It's the 4th.
I mean,
I just can't believe people are still going to the movies in like droves to see these same stories rehashed with different actors 2 and 3 years later.
People are dumb.
Ding.
People are dumb.
But the bomb that got dropped this week, and I want to get into this one, is the theory that got brought out of our favorite episode 1 character, Mr. Jar Jar Binks, is in fact a Sith Lord.
Yeah.
And it was well.
Misa thinking you should go into the dark side. Betcha.
Because he knows because he was there. This thing was probably one of the best written conspiracy theory.
Russ, you're allowed to laugh. It's okay.
I am laughing. If you didn't read it, we'll have to post it somewhere. But this got deep into.
Oh, this is as mind blowing as the Berenstein Bears thing. This is as mind blowing as the Batman theory that Bruce Wayne, when he watched his parents got shot, went nuts, and the whole like everything since then on was just his crazed dreams in Arkham Asylum. What's freaky is that they laid out the specific parts in the film where Jar Jar, for no apparent reason, looking back at it in hindsight, displays Jedi-like capabilities or Sith-like capabilities.
Doing like a 25-foot backflip, lands on his feet type stuff.
Yep. Did comparisons to the Drunken Master, Kung Fu style.
Waved his hand and he got someone to say something. He
had a couple things where he did the whole hand wave and things just sort of worked out his way.
He got on the Senate. He was hanging out with Jedis. Like they go, there's no way if he was that big of a dipshit, they would have made him a general.
Yeah, and he was hanging out with Palpatine.
Right.
Like, and why would Palpatine hang out with like goofball number one of the universe unless they were both from the same planet? Palpatine and Jar Jar.
They showed all the eyes of Darth Maul, Palpatine, and his eyes coincided with theirs. I mean, this thing went deep.
And so but like the funny part of the story at the end is like, but what happened was the fans had such a negative reaction to Jar Jar when Episode 1 came out that's why Count Dooku was so hastily inserted and sucked so hard into Episode 2. Was because he realized that he couldn't carry forward the Jar Jar character. That fans hated it so much he couldn't build a premise around that backstory. And even that kind of makes sense because, it was Christopher Lee and it was awesome to see him in it, but he sucked and he was wooden and it was terrible.
Yeah. But but they're saying he's going to make a triumphant return in 7 as a Sith, which doesn't make any sense to me. But this thing, if you get a chance, we'll post it on Twitter. It's probably one of the best reads. And I mean, this guy did his homework, and it was he had screen caps the whole nine. Yeah, I was mind blown. Did you read it, Nuri?
I didn't.
It was that good. Seriously, I'll post it on Twitter right now. But hey, we're gonna jump into a quick break. We'll be back with talking Fantasticon in this upcoming weekend. And this is the IT in the D show, and we'll be right back.
IT in the D. Read. Meet. Listen. Networking Detroit, one beer at a time.
Hey, this is John Schneider from Nip Tuck Smallville, the haves and the have-nots. Oh, Dr. Quinn, Hot in Cleveland, Secret Life of the American Teenager, and just about everything you can possibly imagine. And oh yeah, the Dukes of Hazzard. You're listening to Bob and Dave. See IT in the D show.
ITinthed.com.
This is a previously recorded episode of the IT in the D show.
Welcome back. Segment 2, episode 116. This is the IT in the D show. We are broadcasting live in the Detroit Sound Studios in beautiful Ferndale, Michigan. This is Bob the Sales Guy, always here with Dave the Geek, Nuri the FNG. Find us online, itinthed.com. Give us a like on the Facebooks /ITinthD and follow us on the Twitters /ITinthD. And don't forget, we have an app. Go to iOS or iTunes and check out the Podcast Detroit app.
iOS or iTunes?
Is that what I said?
I'm going to log into the iOS store.
Would you like some Android with your Google?
Oh, I want the Androids and the Googles. You know what I meant. Go download the Podcast Detroit app. There's a big, huge play button, and it makes it a lot easier to listen to the show. And I don't know what all the social crap's plugged in there. You know what to do.
It is. It makes life easier. So hey, we actually already have our caller online, I believe. Oh, hold on. I'm sorry. We have a read before we hop into our caller.
This segment of IT in the D is brought to you by Braintree. Developers around the world have embraced the Braintree V.0 SDK as the easiest way to add secure mobile payments to their apps and websites. No matter what payment type, Braintree accepts it. Whether Apple Pay, Android Pay, PayPal, Venmo, credit cards, even Bitcoin.
What's Venmo?
I've never used Venmo before.
Yeah, I don't. That's what. I'd love to know. I'd love to know though.
What's Bitcoin?
I know what Bitcoin is.
And if something new pops up, like Venmo, we'll support that too. It's the same payment solution used by Uber, which I take hundreds of Uber rides a year, and it processes them all very nicely. Airbnb, GitHub, so you know it scales well.
And the Grubbable guys.
Nice. I love those guys.
Yeah.
Integrating into your app is easy, and it's just inserting a few lines of code and some simple configurations, and you're off to the races with PCI-compliant payments. So don't take our word for it, though. Try out the sandbox and see for yourself at BraintreePayments.com/lowercase-it. That's BraintreePayments.com/IT.
Awesome.
So now let's see if we have our caller from Fantasticon on with us.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Hey, good. How are you? Thanks for calling in.
Hey, thanks for having me. It's a pleasure.
So we are all gung-ho, and we've already threatened we're just going to come in and take over, is what we're going to do this weekend. We're going to have we're looking forward to bringing the whole crew and all of our shows out there. It's going to be a good time. So for those who don't know, tell the folks that are listening a little bit about what Fantasticon is and what sets you apart.
Well, Fantasticon is a new kind of comic convention. We are taking the con to the people. Basically, we started this about 2 years ago, and my partner and I always wanted to do a comic book show, and we've been collectors our whole lives, and we've been to all the big shows, San Diego, New York, a lot of the Wizard World, Motor City Comic Con.
I like the big shows.
You know, we noticed that things are starting to get a little pricey. My partner's an artist and a dealer, and he was starting to pay $1,000 for table space.
Oh my God!
You know, the admission prices were becoming $40-$50, and it just started getting a little overpriced and a little overcrowded. And we're thinking, well, how about we develop a show that's affordable, but yet we take it to cities that don't have cons. So,
well, yeah, because it's not just here. I mean, so like this coming weekend, it's at Gibraltar Trade Center out in Mount Clemens, but you guys also bounce around and do some other cities as well.
Yeah, Mount Clemens is still a suburb of Detroit, and that's our hometown, so that one was kind of a given. But the other markets we're in, next year we're going to be in 5 different cities. We're going to the first show of 2016 will be in Lansing, March 5th and 6th. Then we go to Toledo, Ohio, April 16th and 17th. And then in the fall of 2016, we're going to be Birch Run, October 8th and 9th, Fort Wayne, Indiana, on October 29th and 30th, and then back again in Mount Clemens at Gibraltar Trade Center in the middle of November. And then our plans for 2017 is to expand to 3 more markets, making it 8 total. So basically what we are is we're a mid-sized show that is still very heavy on comic books and toys, very affordable, and we're taking it to the markets that don't have shows. So that's what sets us apart from other shows.
So now, when you say mid-size show, like what does that mean?
Mid-size show, our shows draw between 3,000 and 5,000 people. The really big shows, Motor City Comic Con, the Wizard World shows, those draw north of 20,000. So, yeah, mid-size, 3,000 to 5,000, and then we probably, instead of having 200 dealers and artists, we have about half of that, about 100, 120.
You know, I think that's a good thing. I mean, I go to Motor City Comic Con with 20,000 people, and I feel lost.
I feel overwhelmed.
Yeah, it's overload. And then I mean, my home convention is Penguicon, right? And there's 1,500 people there, and that's where I feel much more home at a con. And I think it's a really underserved market, that mid-market, and then you're bringing it to cities that generally don't get access to that super cool talent. So that's a really awesome thing to have going for you guys.
And it's worked out really well. I mean, we've grown very fast in a very short amount of time. So we're happy with our formula, and you know, because of guys like you to help spread the word, you're helping us out, and we really appreciate it.
This is right up our alley. I mean, this is what basically our entire purpose of going to cons is to go and hang out and have drinks with people, and with any luck, get some '80s D-list celebrities just absolutely hammered with us and have a great night. That's what we do.
So I think
I think you're going to have fun this weekend.
Dave was just eloquently saying that we like to go to cons and get really, really drunk.
It's who we are. It's what we do. Hey, our tagline has always been "Networking Detroit, one beer at a time." We don't change that for cons.
Yes, and where else can you go to see a guy set his girlfriend on fire?
That was PenguinCon. That was
I know,
his.
and it was awesome.
You were there?
Yes. And that wasn't his girlfriend, but we digress.
I know it wasn't. Some other guy's girlfriend.
No, that wasn't even his girlfriend. I know the guy that was doing the fire. That wasn't his girlfriend.
Just some random
woman who volunteered to be set on fire.
All right.
Totally digressing from Fantasticon. So speaking of which, other than the comics and the toys and that kind of stuff, I mean, I know you do have some celebrity guests that are showing up. Who's going to be there this weekend?
Well, unfortunately, our main headliner, Jonathan Frakes, had to reschedule his appearance for he had a scheduling conflict on his end.
Boo.
He is going to reschedule and do the date for us in Fort Wayne next year. Believe me, that's not good news for anybody that plans on coming to the show this weekend. We were very, very bummed out when we heard that news, but it happens. I've seen it many times. A lot of the bigger cons, they have numerous people cancel on.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's Motor City. I mean, we do. When the guests are announced, we start making our list of who we want to go get drunk with, and then slowly but surely, as the dates get closer, there's always some X's and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so I mean, we're very, very bummed out about that. But I mean, we're pretty excited about Ming Chen and Michael Zapchik coming. I've been personally talking to both of them a couple times a week.
Yeah,
They're extremely excited about coming, and those guys are pretty cool. Just the fact that they work for Kevin Smith. They're on the Comic Book Men TV show. They pretty much run the store. I mean, they got a wealth of knowledge on Comic Cons and comic books and toys, and they're just really cool guys. So I'm really looking forward to hanging out with those guys.
Well, and I know something else. You mentioned one of the things is you're trying to keep ticket prices low, and I'm not going to lie, your ticket prices stun me with how low they are. So for those who aren't familiar and might want to come out this weekend, just how low are your ticket prices?
Well, I tell you what, you buy them in advance; they're really cheap. Saturday is $9.50 in advance, and $13.
Yeah, no, not $950, Nuri. $9.50. Yeah,
that is correct. $9.50. $13 at the door. Sunday is only $5.50 in advance, and $9 at the door, and then you can buy a 2-day pass for $12.50.
I'd spend more dollars in
we
gas.
We keep it affordable.
And the best part about Gibraltar, they have that stand with the hot donuts they make in front of you. Oh my God! I cannot go there without getting those hot donuts.
So whenever I can't find you during the con, that's where I go look for you.
I'll be at the hot donut stand. Yeah,
give me a hot donut.
They're so good. Seriously.
So I'm looking at your artists as well. I see a lot of. We have one of our show friends, Casey Pierce, is going to be there.
She is.
Tiffany Walker, who's one of my personal friends and the PenguinCon artist for years, is going to be there. So are all the artists going to be at the show going to be local Detroit, or do you have people from all over the place, or kind of what's your ethos?
Well, Tony's going to be there too. Tony Miello.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Most of them are from Metro Detroit, but we do have some that travel from other states. I got to tell you, one of the things that has really made our show successful are the artists and writers of they create their own stuff. They're just amazing artists, and some of the stuff is just one of a kind. It's just unbelievable, and that's what really helps our shows too. Is that we got a lot of very good artists and vendors. Another one we're very excited to have is Mark Arminsky. I don't know if you guys are familiar with him, but he's an old school concert poster artist, and he's done a lot of famous stuff dating back to the 70s. And he's gonna be there signing autographs and selling prints, and he's an amazing artist. Not your typical comic book artist, but there's a lot of crossover with music and comics, and I think a lot of people are going to be very excited to see him there.
So what are some of the hot things going on right now? I know you can't put Walking Dead anything out there without it selling out. What are some of the hot things that everybody's looking for? What people are trying to find?
Are you talking about for comics, toys, art, that sort of thing?
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what? It's a little bit of everything, to be honest with you. We definitely have a lot of comic book collectors. A lot of people come to our shows and they look for a lot of the older comics that are harder to find. We got a really good amount of dealers that have a very nice stock, and so a lot of people come with their checklist and they try to fill in their collections, and we see a lot of people leave with bags full of comics, so that's a good thing.
I can't leave.
There's a lot of people like collecting action figures. Same thing. We got a lot of vendors that do toys, and once again, they come with a list. There's certain things they're looking for, and I think most of the time you can find them at one of our shows.
I can't leave those things without buying at least 4 or 5 pop vinyl figures and like a half a dozen action figures. I'm the worst. Grown man, digging through action figures.
You're the best dad.
I buy them for me. That's the problem.
Oh,
Well, I mean, honestly, that's one of the nice things. I mean, you look at some of the, the bigger cons that are out there, and the artist alleys are almost forgotten. Like they're an afterthought. They're pushed back into a far corner. They're getting smaller and smaller every year. It's nice to have a con that's focusing on the art. I mean, after all, it's a comic con. It's supposed to be about comics,
not just a gigantic nerd mall.
Yeah, exactly. Not the nerd flea market. It's not supposed to be that. So I mean, that's the really cool part. I'm kind of looking forward to seeing what goes on out there.
Yeah, we have 20 local and regional artists, and then we have probably another dozen national people from Marvel, DC, Archie. Somebody we're extremely happy to have, and he very rarely does shows, is Basil Gogos. And he's if you guys are familiar with the old famous monsters of Filmland and Creepy and Eerie magazines back in the 60s and 70s, he did the cover art for almost all of those. I mean, this guy's a legend, and he's going to be at the show. And like I said, we're very happy to have him because you really don't see him in a lot of shows. Other national guys, we got Bill Reinhold from Marvel Comics, Andrew Pepboy from Archie Comics, Stephen B. Scott, who's done a lot of stuff with Marvel and DC, Scott Rosemont, Christopher Franchi, and we got a whole bunch of guys that have done major work for the major comics. So we're pretty excited about that too.
Huge. So if anybody, I guess, how do we find out how to go there? Is it fantasticon.net? Am I correct?
That's correct. You go to Fantasticon.net. All the information is there. There's photos and bios of every single artist and media guest that we have.
Yeah, I was going to say, the venue is a great venue just because that place is so damn massive. There's no way, and especially with the crowd you're expecting, at least people can breathe. I'm just thinking about that right now, just the being overwhelmed. And no, it's a good thing. And I heard there's gonna be a phenomenal panel there, Dave, on Sunday at 2 p.m.
I heard that there might be a really cool panel going on.
What's happening?
I think that's the So You Want to Start a Podcast.
How did we get suckered into that one?
I might have volunteered us.
Oh, dirty dog.
Well, and the Nerd Life production guys are going to be doing the nerdy, flirty speed dating thing on Saturday night, which is always entertaining when they do that. So
yeah, it's a good segue. How about as far as panels and discussions? What types of panels can people expect to go see?
Well, we got 2 panels on Saturday, and we have 2 on, or actually we have 3 on Sunday. The 2 on Saturday. The first one is the independent comic book publishers, and that's going to be with, let me see who's on that one, Matt Fussell and Robin Dale and I should have this information from me, but I don't. Oh, and Dan Fogel. Those guys are going to be talking about how to create your own comic books and publish them and that sort of thing. It's going to be moderated by my partner, Martin Herchak, so that's going to be a pretty good panel. That one happens Saturday at 1 o'clock. And then the other one on Saturday is going to be the Horror Legends of War and Publishing. That's going to be with Basil Gogos, who I mentioned is one of the famous artists from the era, and then T. Casey Brennan, who's one of the writers that did a lot of the stories in those magazines back in the 60s and 70s. So they're going to talk about, working for Warren Publishing back in the day and putting out stuff back in the early part of the genre in the 60s and 70s. And then the panels on Sunday, we have the comic book men, Ming Chen and Michael Zapchik, are going to discuss how it is working at the Secret Stash comic book store and being on the hit show on AMC, Comic Book Men, and how it is hanging out with Kevin Smith. So I think that one's going to be a lot of fun. Then yours, you want to start a podcast, it's going to be 2 o'clock on Sunday. And then at 3 o'clock, we have one called Sell Us Your Idea, which Source Point Publishing is putting on, that is sort of, again, teaching people how to get their art out there and possibly get it published. So there's a lot of really fun and informational panels happening both days.
Sounds like fun. I mean, here's the thing: you obviously are a fanboy. This becomes work now. Do you actually get to have fun at these things? Or are you just running around like a chicken?
Or is it like us at our events?
Right, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, I'm running around with like a chicken with his head cut off. Absolutely. I do get to enjoy certain things. But, like I'll sit down. I'm looking forward to your panel. I'll probably sit down about 15 minutes into it. I'll probably get yanked out because there's something I got to go handle.
Because something broke.
Yeah, but no, I mean, I've been a collector my whole life of, what's cool now is 10 years ago, if you were a nerd or a geek, you kind of kept it quiet. But now it's in the mainstream, so, being a nerd or a geek is cool.
Let
now.
your geek flag fly.
Really cool.
No, it's almost like it's all spun. If you're that the jock DB, you're the clown, and the geek is like revered now. It's kind of
the geek shall inherit the earth.
Exactly, revenge of the nerds.
I remember back when I was like maybe 10 years ago. I was like, one day you'll be pumping my gas, bastard, and it's basically come full circle to that.
Well, it's like somebody I used to work with a couple years ago reminded me she went to Harvard, and Harvard, believe it or not, has cheerleaders, and the biggest thing that happens at the games when you play Harvard, because they perennially just get their ass kicked at everything. Their cheerleaders will start the "It's all right, it's okay, you'll work for us anyway" cheer. That's
it's funny because it's true, right? But hey, actually, we're gonna have a booth. We didn't even say that.
We do. We are going to be at booth J3. We are going to have the entire Podcast Detroit crew out there. We've got a bunch of shows that are going to come out and record live, broadcast live. We've got just all kinds of crazy stuff. We got shirts. We got allegedly some shot glasses. We got all kinds of fun stuff that we're going to be doing.
Now, I was looking at the Gibraltar Trade Center. I'm not an original from Michigan. I don't know where it's at. It's about 30 minutes from downtown Detroit. Yep. If someone like me wanted to come in and have a few drinks and stay, what's the hotel situation like up there?
There's a few. There's 3 that are probably within 5 minutes. The closest one being the Concord Inn, which is on Gratiot, just south of Hall Road, which is on 59.
Are they still available?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Are the hotels still available, or?
As of right now,
what is he? Hotels.com?
That's a cat runner. I wouldn't know that. I mean,
what the hell is he supposed to know?
Am I too late to book a damn room?
Hey, what are the rental car prices like in
Sheboygan, Illinois?
Clown. Yeah. Well, we have three hotels that we're sending everybody to, and they're pretty big. So I don't think we're going to have a sellout problem.
Yeah, it's right. I mean, it's right off 94, Nuri. It's like right next to downtown Mount Clemens.
Do we plan ahead and just get a couple rooms and plan a suite party?
You live a mile from there.
Still, I'm not inviting all these people back to my house.
Point taken.
Your house.
So I tell you what, the fun one next year is going to be the first one that we do in Lansing. It's actually at a hotel, the Causeway Bay Hotel and Convention Center. So the shows that we do that are in a hotel, those are a lot of fun because then we have the after parties.
Yeah, speaking of
all in one building, so that's the fun one.
Is there an after party, or is it non-existent?
For this one in Mount Clemens, no, there's no after party.
It's not an official after
party.
For
the Lansing show in March, there'll be a.
I assure you, we will put together an after party.
Yeah, that's already done.
It might not be one that you want any affiliation with whatsoever, but we'll have an after party rolling.
All right.
So hey, I know we're getting ready to bounce up against the break here, but so times of the show on both Saturday and Sunday.
We open at 10 a.m. on Saturday, goes to 6 p.m., and then on Sunday it's 10 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Outstanding. All right, and again, the website is fantasticon.net. That's where you'll find all the information. We've got it linked on our site, the Podcast Detroit site, all over the place already. Thanks for joining. Hey, you know what? This is what a terrible host at this kind of stuff I am. Your name is?
Joe Nico.
Hey, Joe.
Hey, that's fine. Hey, we hit it off so good, we just went right to it.
Yeah, exactly. That's we've been bouncing back and forth via email for the past couple of weeks. Just dove right into the conversation midstream. All right, well, hey, yeah. Joe, thanks for calling, man. We appreciate it. Anything we missed you want us to double back on quick?
No, but I think we're good. Just prepare yourselves to have a lot of fun.
No. You prepare. That's outstanding, man. Again, appreciate it, and really, really looking forward to coming out and having a good time.
Cool. Thanks for having me. We'll see you this weekend.
Thanks, Joe. Look forward to it.
Take care. Bye.
This is Joel with Fantasticon.net. We're gonna take a quick break. We're gonna come back. Segment 3.
Segment 3. With not segment 116.
Russ
episode
from
3.
Bartech. Talking about
not the last company
recruiting.
he worked at that I put in the email at first.
No, I saw that. This is the IT and the D Show, and we'll be right back.
This is a previously recorded episode of the IT and the D Show.
Welcome back. Segment 3, episode 116. Thank you for listening. This is the IT in the D Show. We are broadcasting live in the Detroit Sound Studios in beautiful Ferndale, Michigan. This is Bob, the sales guy, always here with Dave the Geek, Nuri, the BOM. Find us online, itinthed.com. Tons of great content out there, blogs.
Nuri, the man of a million acronyms.
No doubt. Yes. Just like HP.
I'm being split into two companies.
I was going to say he's being split into two individual components now.
Right. But check us out, itinthed.com. Tons of great content, blogs, job boards. Your one-stop shop for all your IT needs in Metro Detroit. Sorry.
And Bob gets stabbed in the eye with a pen. But hey, so real quick, just make sure, again, we were just talking to Joe from Fantasticon. That's out at fantasticon.net. We'll be there all weekend long. And then we have our events. Thursday the 19th, we'll be at the Blackfin in Royal Oak in the back room, 5 p.m. start time as always. And then our December event, the one that's always a lot of fun, is Thursday, December 10th. That'll be over at Falling Down Beer Company again, doing our usual fun and excitement. Just got confirmation today that the guy that I wanted to come play a little acoustic set is going to come and hang out and play. It's going to be freaking awesome. We got a couple of our shows coming out. They're going to broadcast live from there as well. Should be a good time. So, hey, before we dive in, and this is actually a good segue for our next guest, this is one that's kind of near and dear to all of our hearts because we've all dealt with this pain. So this segment is brought to you by TopTal because finding and hiring talented developers is really hard. So in addition to the months of searching through large piles of resumes that you typically need to contend with, once you find a reasonable candidate, it's really, really hard to evaluate a developer's skill level unless you're a developer yourself. This is why, HR winds up passing on 9,000 resumes, and I ask them to bring 2 in for interviews.
His LinkedIn said Cisco on it, so I sent it to you anyway.
Right, yeah, but that was SYS. He was driving a truck delivering lettuce. He didn't actually understand routers. But the nice part about this is that TopTal makes it easy. So TopTal is a large network of the top 3% of software developers in the world. To be accepted, applicants have to go through an intense screening process that tests for technical expertise, problem-solving ability, communication skills, that's a biggie, and more. Their acceptance rate, again, is only 3%. So TopTal's team of engineers, they meet with you to understand your needs and handpick just a few developers from their network for you according to your needs. And once you interview a developer, you can start working with them on a full-time, part-time, hourly basis, or for as long as you need, for whatever you need. It's really flexible. They've been so successful with this that they offer a no-risk trial period for all engagements. If you're not satisfied, you don't pay. It's as simple as that. Thousands of companies, including Airbnb, JP Morgan, Zendesk, and more, have turned to TopTal when they needed the best developers because TopTal allowed them to hire rapidly, hire with confidence, and hire only the best. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to go to TopTal, www.toptal, that's TOPTAL.com/podcast today to start working with the top tier developers at TopTal. Podcast listeners like you that are listening to this now will receive 1 week of TopTal development credit in addition to the no-risk trial period of up to 2 weeks, which, again, you're not happy, you don't pay. So, again, that's TopTal, TOPTAL, Top Talent, get it? TOPTAL.com/podcast now to sign up.
Nailed it. Honestly, I never heard of.
You want to do a read? That's how you do a read.
No, I never. I'll be honest with you. I never heard of
Forget
somebody
about
doing
it.
a service like that. That's actually.
It's very
because you think about it. If there's
That's what
a
recruiting companies are supposed to do for you. but-
We all do that. I don't know what you're talking about.
Speaking of recruiting companies,
No, so and again, like I said, this was actually a good segue because we do. I mean, so Russ was in not just on episode 1. Russ was on a couple of other episodes along the way. He called in from Eternopia when he was over there. Had a great conversation with him while he was overseas. Just detailing all the little adventures that he had.
There's some adventures over there too.
It was quite entertaining. So Russ Dodson is back. He is with the Bartech Group, which is a company that we've known for quite some time as well. So Russ,
nothing to do with bars.
Or
well, it has to. You were about to say or dead.
And maybe I'm in the market. I don't know.
Yeah.
I really like your new
War,
studio.
the Civil War Award. Discuss.
No, I'm really liking your new studio. It looks great. Did you guys know that you're also in the Oakland County headquarters of Alcoholics Anonymous?
Apparently, they're downstairs.
building?
It's in this building, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, heavy on the
we didn't
irony.
know.
Interesting juxtaposition.
We should stagger down and say hi.
Yeah, you should, definitely. Maybe
What are you guys doing?
There might
You
be
guys
some people
playing
that want
cards?
to talk to you for an hour or so. I don't know. It's crazy talk, maybe.
Hey, AA is for people that have problems drinking. We have no problem drinking.
Clearly.
A bunch of quitters down there.
So I mean, you actually made it back just in time for one of our last Pink Slip Party events.
I did,
and so you're getting back in the swing of things, and life's good. So how is life at Bartech, and what are you guys looking for?
Life at Bartech is awesome. We've got more work than we could possibly know what to do with right now on a nationwide basis. I mean,
Never a bad problem to have.
No, that's quite a change from 5 years ago, which we all lived through that 5 year ago thing, which was no fun.
Yeah, hence the birth of the Pink Slip Party.
It's the birth of the big, fat, juicy Pink Slip Party. But no, right now we've got a ton of work in Detroit. No surprises on the skill sets. .NET developers, Java developers. Of course, since we are in Detroit, we still have needs for mainframe.
It's never going to go away.
Never, ever going to go away. I'm heavy on the maintenance, obviously.
Yeah.
But
where are you finding mainframe people?
Everywhere.
And are they like under the age of 60?
Probably downstairs at the AA office.
They're down there. They are down there. We post in the AARP magazines and find those folks. No, there's obviously all three of the automotive companies here. You can still find those guys there. And surprisingly, they're not 70 years old either. You'll find a new Java developer who ends up integrating some old DB2 thing through some fancy middleware to an Oracle database and then putting a web front end on it. Seriously.
I consider myself really lucky in my job that I don't have to touch those.
Oh, dude, I lived that pain when I was at Kmart headquarters. I mean, it was all IMS. It was just
IMS DB2. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. People sold those things to the automotive industry. Those guys are used to amortizing a capital investment like that over 3 decades.
Which they're beyond now.
Nobody told them. Well, now they're so deep in, they can't get out.
Yeah.
So, but also, that's, in the healthcare industry, I mean, they still work, and they work well. So healthcare and insurance, you'll still see a lot of old mainframe
We
databases.
joke about it all the time, just being in Detroit. Yeah, being in kind of an old. How many AS400s are sitting out there running a 10 meg handoff into a hub? I would venture to say there's a lot.
There's a lot of them, especially at a smaller company. Yeah, you'll see a lot of AS400. I have a job for an AS400 admin.
Where's that guy?
That one happens to be in Boise, Idaho. But
would you call me?
Sure, yeah, no problem.
No, so what'd you call me?
You heard me. Boy, shut up.
Idaho.
You heard me.
You didn't stutter. Something funny?
Always. So no. So I mean that's. So I mean it sounds like you're kind of seeing the exact same things that that we're seeing and noticing around the industry, which is pretty common. So I guess what. I guess taking since all that stuff seems to be the same. So what's it been like for you getting back into the swing of things here?
I'm adjusting to civilian life quite nicely.
It's not taking a whole lot.
No, I'm kidding. We've talked about this before, and it is difficult to come back, and it's been always a transition to start reestablishing your network, reestablishing your social circles, reestablishing all of that stuff is always a large transition. It's like being in a prison.
There's only so much communication you can do when for like the better part of 2 years we had just had photos of you with goats.
Monkeys.
Yeah, true.
There were monkeys. There were goats. I actually did have...
Which just got you... You're lucky you weren't Des Bryant. Des Bryant just got in a lot of trouble for a photo with a monkey.
Well, in Africa, they don't care if you have monkeys.
apparently here in the U.S. it's a big deal.
Apparently.
At least according to PETA.
People for the eating of tasty
Yeah,
animals?
exactly. People eat, yeah.
All right, I wasn't sure which PETA you were referring to. I, of course, did have one person, the hipster queen of Brooklyn, who did actually come to Ethiopia.
She did?
Yeah, she flew to Ethiopia. Oddly enough, my one of my cousins and his wife came down there also. They're both in medical school, and during their Christmas break, they were going to Ethiopia. It was weird. They've been doing it for years, and I happened to be in the same town, so got to put
Like
them
that's just their chosen vacation spot?
It's their that's where they go. That's where Dodsons go for vacation. Is they go to Ethiopia and work at a fistula hospital.
Fish Jello hospital?
Yeah, exactly. No, fistula. It's some sort of a thing.
I have a friend who had a kidney replaced, and it's the thing that goes in the arm, and it's crazy.
I don't know what it is, but no, they came down. They stayed at the government safe house too, so it was fun. Their moms were happy because they were safe, and
so you're getting used to not carrying around giant just stacks of cash all the time and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, that was hard. Yeah, $80 and it's a 17-inch stack of money, which buys everything. Some things are bad. I mean, I really like being able to buy all kinds of fresh produce and mangoes and stuff like that for nothing.
Literally, yeah.
Yeah, literally. Here's, the first time I tried to buy mangoes, I gave the guy 100 birr, which is roughly $5. And he's like, how many mangoes you want? I'm like, $5 worth of mangoes. That was all the mangoes.
Here is a truck complimentary for the mangoes you should take away from here.
Quite literally, it was 3 bushels of mangoes.
Would you like to have the burro to bring the,
yes.
the mangoes back
and
to your
here's a child. We'll carry them into your house and peel them for you, whatever you need. But no, I mean,
you get like 2. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I know.
And they're not ripe, and there's no one there to peel them for you.
Right.
Yeah, no one peels them for you. But no, it's good to be back. It's always, again, it always is a transition, but hopefully I'm not going to be doing that anytime soon.
That would be good.
Yeah, it'd be good.
Getting nice and comfy back here.
I like it here. I have a house. I bought a house up in Flint.
You did?
Yeah. I actually bought a house in the cultural area of Flint. There is a cultural area of Flint.
Now, is that a euphemism?
No, it's actually a thing.
Shitty Pot Town?
Is that Soto Sopa?
No.
Soto Sopa.
No, I'm actually right across from the Flint Institute of Arts and the Flint Institute of Music and everything.
Is that like the Windsor Ballet? Is that
no? Those are actual things. Flint has a symphony orchestra. I went to a cello concert, not Jello.
Cello.
Fish Jello.
No, I wanted to get you in front of it. A couple weeks ago. No,
it's a girl in the corner going cello.
It's a small neighborhood in Flint, but it's a cool neighborhood.
So the hipsters are moving in, is what you're saying?
No, it's not a lot of hipsters there. Mostly medical people from the hospitals and some professors from the universities. They've been doing some since the University of Michigan up there became an actual college instead of just a drive into town, go to school, and leave. They have dorms now. There's people who live there. So
I got a question for you.
Let's hear it.
No, so you've been deployed a couple of times. You were talking about trying to get reacquainted.
Right.
Like how does that go from that's kind of new to me, saying like, hey, I'm leaving, I'm getting deployed, and then 2 years later going, hey, I'm back, let's start doing business again. I mean, is it more work? Is it less work? I mean, are they giving you the Heisman? Are you being embraced? Right.
And Andrea Zellner says hi, Russ.
Oh, tell her I said hi back. Does she not know I have a phone?
She tweeted us. We're more important than you are.
Oh, hello, Andrea. Nice to know you're out there.
Yeah, she survived her adventure here.
She did. I was worried. No, honestly, Bob, a little bit of both. In some ways, you're embraced, and it's wonderful, and it's cool, and everything like that. But also, if a company brings somebody in to replace you while you're gone, then there's always the getting reacquainted. Well,
because I'm finding out, as a sales guy, there's a joke between us that none of us ever take vacations unless you make President's Club.
Yeah,
because you have to.
Yep.
Because if you miss a week, you could have missed. You lose. Right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So I can't imagine being gone for 2 years and then going, hey, I'm back.
Yeah,
welcome home.
Where's my desk? And they're like, oh, who, you?
Right.
Who are you again?
We don't even know who you are. But no, that's a really difficult transition to make. For the most part, in social circles, you're embraced. But at work, there's exactly what you're talking about. Like, okay, so who are you again, and why do you have this desk?
Yeah.
And what are you doing here? And what do you mean? I've been working on this account for the whole time you've been gone, and now I have to just leave again. So there's always
hey, Joe, you still looking for that Java position I talked to you about in 2012?
Yeah,
yes.
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah, he is. He really is. then there's also reestablishing your network with candidates too, because that's my bread and butter is candidates. Right now, there's no problem finding somebody who has a need for a Sharp.net developer, 2-3 year .net. Just,
right.
I mean, raise your hands if you don't know of 8 job openings for that.
Right.
But what I do lose is my candidate pool. So since I'm not helping anybody get a job for a year and a half, 2 years, they're going to other recruiters.
Right.
So there's reestablishing all of that sort of stuff. So networking is, my theories on that. My networking is crucial to that. So I know I didn't make your event last month, but
we noticed.
I'm sorry. I had things happen. So
we know.
I wasn't able to come, but
no, you wonder why, like in college, why they're not steering people like lib arts majors, like just get. Don't even need a degree. Just go get .net and go. And they're not doing it. It seems like nobody's steering anyone these days.
Who was it?
Like
doing,
the hot demand
was
stuff.
it Dell or was it Cisco that was doing that back in the late 90s? They were taking kids who graduated with 4-year degrees in English, sociology.
Oh, it's big again now.
They were bringing them in for like a 6-month boot camp or something like that. That was Cisco, wasn't it?
Well, and they're saying it all again right now is that the biggest entrance into the IT market are people that don't have IT degrees.
Well, for technical CBI, right? I mean, that 12-week boot camp to teach you security. Completely.
Well, you get a different viewpoint. Like with me at my job at Cisco, I was completely a left turn from everybody that was my background. They wanted something different, a different viewpoint, different eyeballs, right? And I think that's another thing. Like the English majors, they were turning into technical writers. Right? Why would you want a coder? You know what I mean? Writing manuals, right? You want an English major,
and it's good too. If you in your typical workspace, if it's all a bunch of people with IT degrees, at least get leaven the ranks with some people with social skills. So like we have birthday parties and things like that instead of just a screaming massive neurosis.
Right. True.
I'm sorry,
but it's funny because it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, we know.
Absolutely.
So I mean, are you working with train? Because you think about this, the skills gap is monstrous, and we've been talking about a skills gap here for 2 years now at least.
More than that.
Is any companies just grabbing them by the neck and taking it on themselves, or are you guys working with training? You know what I mean? Who's filling that gap?
We have a couple of programs. Bartech has got a couple of programs that do training. A lot of organizations do that. The Purple Squirrel job orders, for the most part, have gone away. I did have a telephone conference this morning with a company who's looking for a candidate with 5 years of experience in a skill set that's existed for 18 months. But no, that's not new. In 1998, people were looking for Java developers with 15 years of experience.
Yeah,
I have it on a piece of paper at home from Chrysler. They were looking for that, but with the skills gap being what it is, frankly, I'm finding a lot more employers being reasonable on a 60% solution or an 80% solution. And it's a quick education with a client who wants everybody to fit all the wickets. It's a simple conversation. It's like, look, you cannot hire what you grew. You cannot do that. You can't have a guy who's worked here for 10 years who learned to do this, You can't replace that person. They're irreplaceable. So maybe you should retain them.
Or be prepared to take a step back and have somebody learn those same things all over again.
Exactly.
And that's, like I've always said, like the indicators that I always look at to kind of get a feel for the job market are time to hire and salary / hourly rate.
And drive through intelligence.
Well, that's my big one. That's always been my big one. But it's like, because time to, back when the Pink Slip Party started, people were taking 6 months and interviewing 200 people for a $30,000 a year BA job.
Yes.
And so
stupid.
It's ridiculous. But so now, companies finally figured out, you've got maybe 2 weeks at most. You might get 3 or 4 interviews. If you're lucky, you'll get a second before that person gets snapped up.
I've had this going. I was looking for some PHP developers for a local client, and we had to have a conversation with them. It's like, look, you cannot wait for a week after an interview to make a decision because that person is gone.
Yep.
And it happened to them 3 times. I think you just simply cannot wait. They're gone.
Yeah.
They're like, how did that happen? I'm like, you didn't make a decision. You did a phone screening.
Remember what I said? That you could remember what I told you?
You need to move fast because this person's in the market and hot and heavy. That's exactly what happened. I've got some other clients. A guy I just placed down actually in Ligonier, Indiana. I sent his resume on Wednesday. They phone interviewed him on Friday. I'm sorry, on Thursday. They flew him in for an interview on Friday and Saturday, and they made them a job offer today.
Wow. That's how that should work.
That's how that should work. They clearly have a need.
Well, yeah, if you're committed enough to fly somebody in, yeah.
Yeah, they clearly have a need. He clearly fit the need. They had him in there, marched him around the place for 3 hours to make sure everything was good, and they gave him a job offer. So.
The crazy thing that's going on right now, you talk about .NET gap. There's a sales guy gap right now that's I've never seen it before in my life. A little birdie told me. Pretty much there's almost 20 major OEMs in Detroit looking for enterprise account managers, SEs. The SE, there's probably 60 to 100 sales engineer openings for infrastructure. I've never seen it before in my life.
The recruiting gap is out there too.
He's not on LinkedIn. I'm going to go. I mean, sorry, Eric, I'm not looking. I love my job.
The recruiter gap is out there too.
For research, show research.
And I mean, sorry, but as old guys, we've all seen this happen. There's the company that should not be named model of recruiting with no experience and just throwing some people out there to walk around and look good and get
body shop.
But yeah,
but I've never seen like from EMC, Cisco, Microsoft, VMware.
Really?
Salesforce.com has a job like
HP,
this. Yeah, all over
Salesforce, Infoblox, Imperva. I mean, I'm talking there's a laundry list.
You should ask for a raise.
I just got one.
Okay. There you go. There you go. And pluck. But what I am seeing from a lot of the candidates to do with it is the old complaints that we used to get about recruiters. Like, why are you calling me about this job? I haven't done this in a decade.
Yep. Well, then why do you still have it listed on your resume?
Well, it's a keyword. And we've all had that complaint about recruiters from keywords. When things got tight, when things were bad, a lot of those recruiters went away and went someplace else. But
I got one of those just this week. I've previously architected call center solutions, and I get a message saying, "Hey, we're looking for a data architect." I'm like, "Thanks for thinking about me, but I think you're confusing what the architect thing is."
Yeah, they just looked on architect.
Well, here's the thing. They didn't even get that far to confuse that. They blasted a quick search through their database with one or two keywords. They send a mass email, and they don't. When you send
LinkedIn InMail, that costs them money.
A LinkedIn InMail?
Yes.
Not if they have a LinkedIn Recruiter, and most companies will have at least one or two LinkedIn Recruiter accounts, and they have a sourcer whose job is to send out those messages. Sorry.
Yeah, I got one for automotive account manager. I go, when have I ever done that in my career? Where the hell did you find me?
Is that through LinkedIn also?
I don't know where I didn't ask. That's
the huge complaint I get from candidates right now is now they're getting inundated. If they have the word Java or .NET on their resume, they're getting inundated with calls, which most of them, like in the 10-year experience, they're not complaining because they lived through
they know
the last pop. But
I had a recruiter from Atlanta that wanted to do a phone screen with me for a cold fusion position.
Whoa, CFML.
I was like, really? And like not really that you're calling, but like there's still somebody out there that dependent on cold.
That used to be the badass job.
That was the whip. Like that was my go-to knee-jerk reaction was cold fusion.
Really?
45K you're doing ASP.NET 1.1 or like 90K you're doing CFML. Oh.
That's the one thing I don't get is the people that are angry that recruiters call. Like, I'll never – like I got a call today from one. I go, it's so not me, but it's so my friend that's looking, and it's kind of like it's why would you get, if no recruiters – you see it on LinkedIn all the time. Like, please don't contact me. It's like, we
had missing the point guy that's out on the site.
Until you're laid off and then God,
where are all those recruiters who used to call me every day?
Right.
And, I hung up
Hey,
on
remember when you called me 6 months ago? Oh, and you hung up on me? Well, yeah, but remember when you called me because you needed somebody?
Yeah. That's and to candidates out there, I mean, all of us use applicant tracking systems or CRM tools. And every time you're an ass to a recruiter, we make a note of it, and it's stored in there.
Good.
And before I call a candidate, if I see he's been in my database for 6 years, I look back at the notes.
There really is a permanent record, Bob.
There is a permanent record.
That's why I'm nice to everybody.
I look back at the notes, and if you were, hung up on a couple of recruiters or you yelled at somebody.
Who the hell hangs up on a recruiter?
1 out of 10. 1 out of 10. That's not me. Click. Hang up.
The sense of entitlement guy.
Yeah, sense of entitlement guy does that. Overinflated ego guy does that.
No, here's the thing. When they asked me for the automotive AM job, And then with like the total base salary, it was like a quarter of what I make. Like, and they go, "You interested?" I go, well, "No, thanks for calling though." Like, and that was it. Like, but I didn't need to like now click. Like,
you know, I did this panel with Matt Pajamas last weekend.
Oh, that's right. How'd that go?
It was actually pretty cool, but people were asking a lot of questions about that. And one of the complaints was there was a guy who was complaining about recruiters who were calling him for jobs that were not a match for him, and he's not working. And I'm like, hey, bear in mind, you're dealing with somebody who's probably got less than a year of experience. They do not know what they're looking for.
Yeah, that first phone reach out
has
never come.
No clue what it is you do for a living. Do them a favor, spend 5 minutes with them, 10 minutes, and explain why. Help them.
Or give them a phone number.
But then that person will remember you helping them forever.
Totally remember you helping them. And in 2 years, in 6 months, or something like that, when they do have a job that matches you, I'm like, yeah, this is the guy.
Yep.
Who sent. And I've got 5 or 6 guys like that, and you're one of them. I'm like, dude, what is this?
Russ, here's the problem. Dave gets these calls. I do the same thing. Hey, I'm not interested, but do us a favor. Post the job on our LinkedIn group and our job board and our site, and we'd be lucky if 1 out of 20.
It's 1 out of 20.
Do it.
Really?
Yeah.
Like, and I don't get that at all.
Make a note of that person.
Oh, I do.
And you do? I don't.
No, seriously, make a note of that person because again, we do it with candidates. If you're a jerk to a recruiter, if you hang up on my
here's the funny part. It's not even necessarily the person. It's always the same companies. Like I can always tell when a new person has started somewhere because I start getting emails from that company again. Mm-hmm. Hey, notice we haven't touched base in a while. I would like to get an updated copy of your resume. And then we've got this.
Let's update our CRM with your new details.
Hey, look, I'm not really interested. I'm not looking. I'm totally comfy. I'm fine. But here's our LinkedIn group. You might want to check there. And yeah, 1 out of 20.
Well, those folks are just sourcing, and they're sourcing for just a baseline thing. And their job is to source a certain amount of candidates on a weekly, daily basis.
Right.
So, no, they're not going to go bother to do that.
I actually spent about an hour last week with a guy from Tech Systems actually hit me up with a job that was relevant for me but not interesting. And he's like, well, can you give me some feedback about my job description, things
That's
that can
awesome.
my search?
That's awesome.
And I spent an hour redlining his email. I completely rewrote his JD for him, more or less, his job description.
Nice.
And then I'm like, and this is what I'd expect for the job. And he's like, I have problems with that because I can only get this for it. I'm like, you're never going to find what you're looking for. I'm sorry.
Well, exactly. That's when you go to the 60% solution. Yeah. Now, some of the clients I have, there are giant vendor-managed accounts, and there's a VMS and a master vendor and everything else between me. I can't get that sort of relationship with them. So those guys get like a 40% solution sometimes.
Wow.
And you're dealing with job descriptions that were written by a human resources manager 5 years ago to fall under their ISO 14959 guidelines.
Right.
They cannot change. That's not necessarily what they want, but
and that's not even the job anymore.
Not even the job anymore, but that's what it is. Other clients, we have one-on-one relationship with a guy like you, and you can say, okay, dude, what do you really want this person to be able to do? And in those cases, I just need a guy who can come to work every day on time and do what he's supposed to.
You're supposed to.
Does he drool at his desk? He doesn't drool? Okay, then we can hire him.
That's 60% of any job. I mean, let's face it. I'm not a code monkey. How long would it teach you to train me to write code? I mean, really, in 6 months?
Like you specifically?
Yeah, me specifically.
A while.
A mildly intelligent person. Shut up. No one likes you. Have you gained weight?
Probably.
But hey, Russ, speaking of that, we got to go on a quick break.
Sorry.
How do we get a hold of you? How do we find you?
R. Dotson at bartechgroup.com. Also, you can find me on LinkedIn. I'm the only Russ Dotson that'll pop up on LinkedIn in Detroit.
Well, we'll have links and all that fun stuff in the recap.
Cool. Always good catching up with you. Appreciate coming out and hanging out with us. And we will be back, segment 4. Kari Frazier with DetroitisDifferent.com. This is the IT in the D show, and we will be right back.
In the D. Read, meet, listen. Networking Detroit. One beer at a time.
Hey guys, it's Time Hawk, Bruce Leroy from The Last Dragon. You're listening to the IT and D show.
ITinthed.com.
This is a previously recorded episode of the IT in the D Show.
Welcome back, segment 4. This is episode 116 of the IT in the D Show, broadcasting live, Detroit Sound Studios, here in Ferndale, Michigan. This is Bob the Sales Guy, here with Dave the Geek Nuri, the FNG. Find us online, itinthed.com, and check out our app, Podcast Detroit, on Apples and the Googles.
Well, and all the other shows we have on the network that are at podcastdetroit.com as well.
Absolutely.
I mean, we've got, 26, 27 shows running now?
We are
a couple
proud.
We got a few more starting next week.
We're proud to be part of the Podcast Detroit Network.
We had damn well better be.
Don't forget, mark your calendars, November 19th. We're going to be at the Blackfin Royal Oak back room for a regular social. But hey, we could not be more appreciative of you hanging out with us. We thought you were going to fall asleep in the green room, but we got Kari Frazier here from DetroitisDifferent.com doing a little home at home. You were in her interviewing us. You were interviewing us a couple weeks ago.
Yes,
and,
yes.
We
I just embedded that in the announcement that went out for the show today.
Nice.
Put that back out on the site again.
Nice. That actually turned out well. So talk to me. I mean, what is DetroitisDifferent.com, and I guess why'd you start it?
Okay, well, Detroit is Different is just something that I wanted to start to talk about a whole lot of what I do as a hip-hop artist. And then from there, it ventured out to, you know what, let me get some other people involved because I meet a lot of different people. And what happened was people are always saying, like, how do you know all these people? How do you know all these people? And I'm thinking to myself, like, if you're in Detroit, you should know a lot of different types of people because it just intersects like that. So it'll be anything, as we were just in the green room talking about Batch Brewery or something. So you'll be at Batch Brewery and you'll be sitting next to a teacher that's been teaching for 15 years. And then across the bar, it'll be somebody whose father was like one of the first settlers in in Toledo, and he'll tell you about the Toledo, Michigan fight or something. And then it'll be just strange things like this in Detroit that I run into all the time. So I was like, all right, let me start capturing this and then putting it in different cultural dynamics. As I had you all on there, just as a way that I'm thinking that what you all offer is something unique to Detroit, and there's so many people that connect to it, but there's so many more people that need to connect to it as well.
No, absolutely. And that's kind of why, when everybody starts talking about like podcasts and things like that, first thing we always come out of our mouth is, building a community. Mm-hmm. That's something we thought that this thing started as this being a byproduct of. Mm-hmm. So I mean, you're starting with, you're kind of bringing people together. Mm-hmm. What else are you doing to bring the community together?
Well, it's all types of stuff. It's like I've been thinking that just this whole spinning the wheel when it comes to music, it's connecting me to a lot of different people. So as I move from music into more of what you do.
Apparently we need better breaks, is what he was telling us.
I want to put my music in the mix too. I'm Kid and Play all the way too. You all playing all types of stuff that you guys got in the mix. But I just want my music in the mix too. So just with music, now I want to expand the marketing, somewhat of what you already are doing. And as I offer that, Detroit is Different as a hub of showing different people the things that can connect to the city.
Now, here's the thing. We always talk about this with Jeremiah from Daily Detroit. And it seems like there's this huge thing with Detroit. Like, how long you been? Like, you're not Detroit enough. Things like I think it's ridiculous. Me and Dave are we're from the burbs. I mean, we don't hide behind that.
Hold on. Your Detroit is F, yo. You totally are.
No, but
Wait, are you you're wearing your Shinola watch? You're good.
I'm totally Detroit.
I'm using your rocket fiber at home.
But do you subscribe to that, or what's your thoughts on all that crap?
Nah, my thought process is this. It's
nice phrasing, Bob. So do you agree with me, or are you an idiot?
No, that's not how I meant.
My thought process is always like, you always have like a lot of things going on in this region just because it's unique like that, but it's people that want to be here. So the people that want to be here, I want to be here. And it's a lot of people that want to connect to it. So if you want to connect to it and just come down and patronize, whether that be go to the bars, go to the games, support some of the businesses, or wear some of the wares, please do. If you want to live here, please do. If you want to ride the bikes, if you want to get the cars.
No ride bikes. No slow. No, we're good.
All right. Well, whatever you want to do, I'm all for it because I think that the more energy that can connect to Detroit, the more opportunities it provides for the whole region because we really rely on the city. And the city connects to everything that's the metropolitan too.
See, that's the part that always killed me that I never understood. It's like people don't understand the concept of city needs suburbs and the suburbs need the city. So trying to have those two, that's like, when you get cancer, let's say you get kidney cancer. The kidneys aren't mad at the mouth for taking the pill that's going to kill off the cancer. Even though they're different parts of the body, they're still connected. They still work together. That's how it's supposed to be.
Well, I think one of the toughest things.
Do you need some of them brownies, Dave, before we get on?
I'm just saying, man, we're all interconnected. It's all one, man.
It's hipster, not hippie. So, but I think the toughest thing about this whole region, as I talk to friends outside of here, is that we relied for so many years on an industry that really no longer exists. So it's going to take a lot of hands in and a lot of ideas, a lot of creativity, and it's good to see that creativity come to life, especially through what can exist through technology. So it's great ideas coming out, and then I think that some are going to knock against the wall and some are going to flourish.
Well,
This
if you look at what's bringing everyone together in the city, it's
breweries, distilleries, and tech startups.
It's
alcohol and tech.
It's music, art, beer. Like those are like you talk about community. That's a public house. It's a bar. Let's bring everyone together. Let's start talking. But it's so cool seeing the stuff like Detroit Soup and stuff that Bamboo's doing, and like they're bringing they're getting people talking. They're bringing ideas. They're promoting creativeness. I think it doesn't matter if you're in technology or not, or artist or not, or musician.
Just be doing.
Being creative, thinking. Do.
And I think that a lot of the people, especially just because of so much of this whole region. So it's more than just what happened with jobs. It's like a lot of racial divides. It's just a lot of antiquated thinking where I think people need to move beyond whatever was shackling them from working together and just start working together a whole lot more, because we can beget so much more if we do cooperate. And there's so many opportunities. As you were talking about Detroit Soup, Amy that leads that, she's one of my closest when I think about just what she does with the work she does and the parties that she does, and along with the work she does. So it's combining the whole idea of we can party on one day, and then the other day we can do something for the community. But then we can come back and party.
Right, but if you think about, if you just break down what she does, it sounds insanely ridiculous on the surface, right? We're going to get together and eat soup and talk. Yeah. But on a macro level.
And then dollars.
Right, but she's bringing people together and creating solutions to maybe problems, maybe they're not problems. But they're getting together and they're talking, they're creating community. Right, yeah. I think that's the whole point of this whole thing.
And then you all do that too, because sometimes you think it's one resource that you need, and it was kind of going to the other interview that you just left. Sometimes you'll think it's one resource you need, whether it be money or a place or a location. Then you meet somebody, and then you find out, maybe I can use this instead of needing that.
Yep.
So Soup really connects people also when it's just the conversations. Even with what we're doing, as you said, one of the number one things. Come to what we do. Come to one of our monthlies, and don't just think to yourself, I want to get a job, I want to get a job, I want to get a job. Get to meet somebody, and then as you build this network, then you'll see that, okay, now I have some resources. Now I can maneuver.
Networking without an agenda.
But then when you need, the ask is easy.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, you're not the guy showing up on my phone with a random call trying to sell me Windows.
Right, exactly. So, I mean, you had a couple events last week, and Dave and I wanted to go, but we have kids, and it was Halloween weekend. But, I mean, so I guess talk to you about...
we missed all the good stuff
we did.
over the past week.
Don't sweat it. I'm always doing stuff.
But what were you going... What's going on last weekend, and what's coming up?
Well, what was going on last week, I did the Concert for Change, which Amy hosted. And it was a benefit concert for homeless DPS students. And it was real cool, so much the energy we got to keep building. We got to keep raising funds for that. And then I did I'm Scared of Detroit, the comedy show, with some real good comedians. CP came in from L.A., Josh Adams, Jay Bell, and we're going to keep that brand going. But I also continue my hip-hop artistry and mixing it with jazz. So I do this jazz and hip-hop quarterly series. I'm going to do the next show, Thanksgiving. And then,
like Diggable Planets type of thing?
Yeah, you can kind of think Diggable Planets. You can think Tribe Called Quest.
Okay.
But you can
I like me some Tribe.
That's kind of my music right there.
Jungle Brothers.
What if Theo's listening?
Some Little Brother and Murders.
Little Brother a little bit. Yeah, I like live.
No, Theo's a jazz musician.
Did not know.
Yeah, then there it is.
He's got a thing coming up this Thursday.
Okay, well, see, that's where the connections need to start, because I need to connect with as much artistry. As I say, creativity is really where things ooze, because you'll be surprised that most people that want to create anything, at one point in time were playing an instrument somewhere.
We all did. My kid's on an oboe right now, and I wish she wouldn't, but but I'm not going to tell her no.
Played the recorder in high school. I totally did.
So what's your goal with Detroit is Different? What do you plan? What's next out there?
Okay, well, I definitely have to expand what type of content I want to get. I don't want to get too bloggy where everybody gives me ideas. You know, when you come up with something, people are like, you need to make lists. You need to make lists. And I don't know if I really want to make
You need to write about this guy. You need to write about that guy. You need to write about...
So what
Top 5 burgers? You're not going to do that?
Yeah, exactly. Top 5 burgers. But I do want to do... And I love to get you guys' input on this. I do want to do a Detroit is Different award somehow. And I want to come up with some very strange categories. And when I say strange, like, instead of top 5 burgers, it's like, okay, best...
Top 5 falafel? I don't know.
No, like, best place to get a burger at 3
Top
o'clock in the
5
morning.
top 5 suburban white guys that are okay.
Are there 5?
That may be one of the topics, but it would be like just strange Detroit stuff that like Detroiters would know, like
Top 5 thickest coney sauces,
something like that.
All
Yeah,
right.
yeah, like just
Top 5 Conies that aren't Lafayette or American. Yeah,
right.
Yes, or like bartender that makes the best old fashioned. And then if you going after old fashioned
that doesn't wear suspenders and have a mustache
and an arm,
then it's interesting.
And an arm cuff.
There we go. Or non-tattooed bartenders who make old.
Okay, non-tattooed bartenders may be a category within its own self in America.
That'd be a stretch.
I don't think I know one bartender that doesn't have a tattoo.
The non-cliche awards. I like where that's going.
So
that'll keep me up tonight.
The not that guy bartender.
Right,
the not
exactly.
that guy.
So yeah,
Kari, I don't know if you're familiar with like Dave and I've been writing a blog series called "Don't Be That Guy" for almost 10 years now, and it was basically our way to police our community to keep those people out that didn't, you know what I mean? So I think, I want to throw a random question out there. You're building this community now, about Detroit is Different. What's that guy to you?
Well, I think so much of it is I'm really not excluding anybody, but I am, as you guys know. It's like, the jokes come too. You got to be able to take a joke and give a joke here and there. But I think the number one thing is you have to be open to meet. You have to be open to meet whomever wants to do some work, who wants to connect to the city of Detroit, who wants to help the city of Detroit. Because surprisingly, it's so much energy outside of the city of Detroit where people are just talking about it. It's if you go LA, if you go New York, even if you leave the country, you go to anywhere in South America and you put on a Detroit hat, somebody's going to connect to you and say, I've been hearing a little bit more about Detroit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The energy's... Yeah.
15 years ago, I never heard that. What I would hear is...
Well, no, they just shied away from you and hoped you didn't have a gun.
Didn't they asked you in New Hampshire a month ago?
Oh, dude, I went back to New Hampshire for my reunion. My Uber driver literally, he was like, "Oh, where are you coming in from?" I was like, "Detroit." And he was like, "You don't have a gun on you, do you?" Because I don't do guns.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, yeah.
I mean, one of the things with us, and it's a recurring theme with us, is I wish the stupid stuff would stop being news. Right?
Talk about it.
We just lit up 100 streetlights. Great, you're supposed to. There's an Applebee's
open at 8 Mile.
Come on, news? We only.
Well, but again, that's one of those things.
Only 50 fires this year. We're like, come on.
Well, but that kind of fits the theme of why is Detroit so different like that? It's the. In Detroit, you don't go to Chicago and hear you're not Chicago enough. You don't go to L.A. and hear you're not L.A. enough.
L.A. hustles harder, bullshit.
Yeah, you don't hear, it. I mean, you don't, and it's not, hey, there's 18 new streetlights on Ventura Boulevard. That doesn't happen.
But I think it's like a culture here. Even with when we were over at Applebee's talking about the Lions.
Because yes,
losing culture of the Lions.
Yes, we did. We went back to Applebee's this week. Let's be clear.
It's a part of Detroit. So as much as it would be great to see the Lions win. Sometimes I just want to hear people talk about how the Lions lost.
My thing is, don't be telling me, I'm going to root for the Steelers now. I don't even want to talk to you anymore. You're not even a human being to me. You live and die like that team. No, it's your asshole brother. No matter what happens, he can't not be your brother.
Why can't I quit you?
Right, exactly. You can't. It's not like a wife. You get a new one of those. It's your brother. It's your brother. Because you're stuck with this crap, this loser.
Like when that was Bob talking.
Right, That's the only thing I could think about was the Detroit Lions to me is, you just can't get rid of them, but you're never going to, you never would want to.
And then furthermore, it's a context. It's sort of like a lot of the just, a lot of what's silly that happens in the city of Detroit. It's a context to it. Like I always say, with crime, I wish it could be like 2 crime statistics. I wish it could be like a crime statistic for like people that are not involved in ignorant, dumb, criminal behavior. And then a crime statistic for like, oh yeah, he did get shot, but oh yeah, he does like involve himself in ignorant, dumb, criminal behavior. So like,
because there's never, nothing bad ever happens to bad people. Oh. Whenever the news crews arrive, whenever somebody got shot or something like that, it's always, he was the greatest guy, helped all the kids in the neighborhood, always minded his own business.
Best drug dealer on the corner that we've had in years.
It's like, come on, man. I wish it'd be just a little bit more context. And then some of the stuff that goes on that's, I don't even want to say positive, but just newsworthy, you don't even hear about. It's almost like things like nooks and crannies and events and things happening and blossoming around the city that you don't even know about. So you'll be in the city of Detroit, and then somebody will say, well, that these companies are looking at bringing in a whole wing of their operation to the city. And it's like, okay, so this isn't on the news, but then you'll look at what's on the news and, like you say, street lights turn.
Well, but so that's the funny part. We went to the Applebee's for the opening last week, and the guy from the Free Press, he was like this. We were like, dude, really, like he got it. Like he knew why we were there and why because dude, we had shirts made. We were idiots, and he got it. And so as we're sitting there yakking with him, we were like, so dude, why? Like, why are you here? Why is this news? And he was like, because we've got anytime we write about this, we get more clicks than we do on any other story.
So it means they may get 50 clicks at once.
Right.
Okay, now I got to have this discussion. This is like one of the powerful discussions, as I'm like one of the main people of another one of the motivations is I had to create my own media because the current media I can't attest to.
That's why we refuse to we don't let people call us the media. People try to call us the media. We're not the media.
But you're building a base of people that follow that aren't the people clicking those stories.
Right.
It's sort of like, the people that call in the radio and ask for a song. I've listened to the radio my whole life. I've probably called in maybe 4 times.
Right.
So it's like, who's keeping the statistics?
If I'm not voting, then exactly, if I'm not expressing my opinion on what I want to hear.
Well, I think that the problem is some of these media sites, they're beholden to the click. And that's where clickbait comes from.
They're beholden to the corporation that now owns them because they're all owned by the same 5 companies.
Right.
But that click and that person clicking that, let's just say they are clicking that. It's like, it's so many other people that are interested in other things if you explore that. And if you took the time to explore that. Because even with what you're building right here, with this podcast network, it's a whole culture now developing and giving people a voice. So you don't feel that as though you're media. I feel like it's
like the non-traditional media, right? This is,
yes.
I mean, traditional media is dead. Newspapers are dead. The Free Press's website is dead and probably not long at all. Reddit is new media. Podcasts are new media.
Talk about it. It's still people that don't know what a podcast is. And I was like, well, Barack Obama was just interviewed by Mark Maron, and it probably was more of Barack Obama wanting to be interviewed by Mark Maron than the other way around. And that's the strength of what's happening with podcasts. So it's like I trust my podcast person because I feel like they're being real with me. I don't feel like he's just reading off.
I mean, here's the thing, getting guests on the show, like, hey, you want to come on the podcast? Okay. It's not like we have to fight. You know what I mean? We meet cool people, want to be on the podcast? Okay. And it's as simple as that, where you think about, like
1 out of every 15 or so will get the what?
Oh, yeah.
It's internet radio show. Oh, okay. Yeah, okay.
Right, exactly. A couple people listen. Oh, cool. All right.
Yeah.
It's more than a couple people. And then furthermore, even for those people as a person that listens to podcasts, it's a different connection. So, I don't feel like, when any movie comes out and it's the press docket and then the person has media's training and then it's like, oh, Kevin Spacey's just like blah, 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 blah. With the podcast, sometimes I feel like you're getting a sincere connection with the people. So and that's why I like that form of media. Some blogs I read, it's like, okay, yes, you could say that this isn't quote unquote journalistic integrity, but I'm actually paying attention to this. Last week, I read that wild story on Twitter about the stripper from Detroit that went to Florida, and I'm thinking to myself, like, I'm reading this as if it's a novel or something.
We've done a few trial runs with some other companies. The people that react to like our ads and like the things like, hey, talk to this guy, versus like a 97.1 that's on all day, that's listened to by a million. But like, there's, again, you're talking about the connection. I think, again, that's what, when you build a community, create the connection, I think that you have something that's a little bit more than just, farting in the wind. I don't know.
And it's talking about media training and polished. And I would we're the opposite of all that. If we've said it once, we've said it a million times. We are the same people, whether you are sitting here in the studio with us, if you run into us at a wrestling event, if you come hang out with us at Fantasticon this weekend, you run into us in the office. There's not
genuine.
Much difference.
It's genuine. It's unscripted. It's real.
I text message myself information as I sell music, and I'm always thinking of better ways to do that because I think it's every way I sell music is like, I hate it. So I was just text messaging myself this Braintree payment structure, all from just sitting in the other room. I'm like, all right, check that out tomorrow. And that's from an ad that you read. And I know definitely if I was driving down the street listening to whatever radio station, I'm not doing that. I hear a radio ad on the radio station. It's like I have to hear it over and over and over and over. And it's like, okay. It may be a decent window deal. Whereas if you came in here and said, okay, these guys came in, it was 5 guys that did my window, they drink this type of beer. It's like, okay, maybe I'll call that company.
Well, that's what you figure that, like, just with Harry's, for example, it's $10.
Well,
and you're already buying razors.
We used it.
You're over. Yeah,
we used it before we ever did a read.
Right.
I mean, that's
use it.
Yeah, I mean, we still that's the thing. Like, we have first right of refusal when it comes to like the advertisers and the reads and all that stuff. And there are folks that we won't let do ads on the show because we don't believe in it. We don't. It doesn't make sense. So I mean, it's but the ones that seem to fit with who we think our demographic is, we'll give it a shot.
I'm still sleeping on my Casper mattress.
Yeah, when are they coming back, by the way?
I don't know. I freaking love it, though.
I don't think Alex Trebek has that life insurance. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's about time for him to pick some up, though. I'm telling you. He's getting kind of old.
I don't think he's using that. So it just gives a whole nother level of like connection to what you're listening to. And with Detroit is different, I want to venture into that. I want to tell some stories of people that I think are cool that aren't really being exposed, to just introduce these people to the network that does exist in this city.
No, but everybody
so many artists.
Everybody talks about the same stuff in this town. Like you can write it on 10 lines, right? When everybody's talking about Quicken, Shinola, right? Punch Bowl. So you know what I mean? It's so cliche. I absolutely love the direction you're taking. Just going,
Thank you.
People that don't see that's why I love the Anthony Bourdain special.
Parts Unknown.
Oh my God, he's like highlighting things you don't normally see.
I'm still wondering where I can go to that one lady's house in Southwest Detroit and buy a burrito from when he came to Detroit.
Oh, that Venezuelan place?
With crazy Charlie LeDuc.
Uh-huh.
So it's like, and that's in my city. But he didn't go to the classic places. He went to Cutter's, and that's a place I go. But that's not a classic place.
Right.
So I do believe that there are so many avenues, and that's the strength of what can happen with different forms of social media, giving people voices, because there are other places to connect to. And then the people that are clicking, the people that consistently watch the news, because you're right, sometimes I just have to check out from the news because I know the story. It's going to be somebody got murdered.
If it bleeds, it leads.
That story about the 2 people sleeping together in the State House was such a big story for so long. And I'm like, why is this even a story?
My thing they need to, and I'm going to, I'm not going to go on a crusade on it because I'm too damn lazy. But for crying out loud, the next time someone mass murders or shoots, please do not put his picture or her picture and face on the news. Like, please do not glorify these people. Like, and it seems to me like that is almost as much of a problem as the crazy medications people are on these days and the guns themselves. But it's like nobody talks about that. You glorify these people. and you put them almost on a pedestal, on a trophy.
Published their manifesto. In the
Yeah,
article.
Right.
Let's find out more about this. Let's read a social. You know what I mean?
Because everybody wants to be first, and everybody
Yeah.
wants to have the scoop and the exclusive,
But-
whether or not it's real.
And that bothers me too. It's like, what happened to Crazy? Like, why do you have to have reasoning?
What do you need a backstory to Crazy?
Yeah, like what? Why do you have to have reasoning for like? Okay,
What's his origin story?
exactly. What made him want to shoot in?
Yeah, dude out in Colorado that looks like Beaker. He just went crazy. Decided to shoot up
Crazy.
theater.
I've been called Beaker all his life.
Exactly. It's like, what happened to Crazy? You know, sometimes context in our country it goes too far with even more of different things.
Or he's
Like,
a misunderstood, tortured soul.
Well, we
nope, crazy.
Hey, think about the last 4 or 5 mass murders. I bet you know 3 or 4 of the names, at least a few of them.
I'll bet you I don't.
I can't think of one right now.
I immediately flush them from memory.
I can tell you the location, but I can't
Yeah.
tell you the names.
Right.
So I'd say like the New Jersey, the Batman shooting, the guy in South Carolina, and then that guy at the
Fort Hood.
Yeah, but all of that stuff.
The movie theater. You're right.
It's crazy. You know what I mean? And then it's like, especially crazy. It's like, oh, are we going to not let people watch Batman now? It's like, no. Everybody's not sitting watching Batman saying to themselves, you know what? I want to be like the Joker.
You know, if it was all video, like it's video games and movies' fault. I mean, I played a lot of Pac-Man when I was a kid. You know, I'm not sitting in dark rooms eating little pills that give me power.
Hey, that's
Wait.
me. That's me. And on that note.
Kari, appreciate you hanging out with us. DetroitisDifferent.com. Love
Yes.
what you're doing.
Thank you.
Want to
Thank
definitely keep following your stuff. Want to start going to a couple of your things.
Yes.
Definitely keep us posted. We'll do the same with you.
I definitely want to work some connection. I got to get in the mix, give some tickets away, and all that good stuff.
Yeah, feel free.
Yeah, this needs to be like a recurring thing. We need to figure that out.
No doubt. We run third Thursdays on our meetups. We're doing. We're going to do half the time in downtown Detroit. We already picked out the venues, and we're going to do half out in the burbs. Just to bring them both together. And but yeah, appreciate your time, and I definitely look forward to what's next.
Thank you.
Cool, Kari
Very cool.
Frazier.
Yep.
Hey, we're gonna wrap things up. Don't forget, mark your calendars. November 19th, Blackfin Royal Oak.
December 10th, we're over at Falling Down Beer Company for our December fundraising event.
And this weekend, Fantasticon.
Fantasticon.net. We'll be there. It'll be fantastic.
All weekend.
It'll be super.
On the weekend.
Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, we'll see you there.
And then we'll be wrestling Sunday
God.
night. It's going to be a long weekend.
FML.
Insane.
All right.
And then, so Russ, where do we find Bartech?
You can find it at bartech.com.
Okay. Very cool.
Awesome. Well, hey, drink up your drinks, get your phone numbers. You don't got to go home. You just got to get the hell out of here. Appreciate you guys hanging out. This is episode 116, the IT and the D Show, signing off. See you next week. Beat it.
That's it.
The emergency destruct system is now activated.
Conan, what is best in life? To crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and to hear the lamentation of their women.
Long live Flash. You've saved your Earth. Have a nice day.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Nice shooting, son. What's your name? Murphy.
Make the run. The run.
Game over, man. It's game over.
It's over, Johnny. It's over.
Nothing is over. Nothing. You just don't turn it off.
I can't say no, and I don't really want to, so.
Well, especially with the back doors open.
Yo! Hold up! Time out! Time out! Y'all take a chill. You need to cool that shit out. And that's the double truth. Ruth.
Bob loves it in the can.
I hope this was as much fun for you as it was for me.
That's why I like it in the can.
Joe on the cheese.
Bear me.
My job is to make sure this program is morally upright and cultural and wholesome.
Shut up, Mimsy! Shut up, Mimsy! Shut up, Mimsy!
Why would Buick put their cars next to the Bentleys? Why? That's not marketing.
The alphabet.
It's brilliant.
Yeah, I can't take that position.
That analogy sucks because it's right.
Because you're getting your 8-track tuned up.
Are we at a break yet? Yeah, so now I'm just like doing like stupid stuff to make me laugh.
Venture capital is not the end game.
When are we going to talk about me?
Jane, you ignorant slut.
It's my show. I can say what I want.
Kiss my ass, go home, unplug, get off the goddamn internet. You are everything that is wrong with the internet right now.
You're so white right now.
I'm the whitest guy in the room. Just explain it to me.
I love this city.
I was banging on the wang.
Really? Should we talk about this? Tag team it. Should I keep going or should I stop?
Can I just say, it's been great being on a show that talks about Mickey Rooney dying for 20 seconds and then poop for 10 minutes.
This is a previously recorded episode of the IT and the D Show.